Hello everyone, welcome to Zenura. Here I share interesting stories and facts about the things we don't always see. Today, we are talking about something that every parent needs to hear. We all want our children to be happy and confident. But did you know that one simple mistake in how we love them can actually turn them into a narcissist? Science has found the answer, and it's not what you think. Many people think that children become narcissists because their parents didn't love them enough. But a big study in 2015 showed the opposite. The mistake is called overvaluation. This is when a parent tells a child, "You are better than everyone else. You are more special than other kids. You deserve more than them." When we do this, the child's brain starts to believe it. They stop thinking, "I am good," and start thinking, "I am better than you." And the result, as these children grow up, they don't look for love. They look for admiration. If they don't get a trophy or a compliment, they feel angry. They don't learn how to care about other people's feelings because they were taught that only their feelings matter. They become monsters, not because of hate, but because of too much special praise. What to do instead? So, what is the right way? Science says worms is the key. Tell your child, "I love you because of who you are," not like, "I love you because you are better than everyone else." So praise their hard work, not their superiority. Daniel was 6 years old when his teacher called his parents in. Not because he was struggling, because he was winning. Every game, every group project, every classroom debate, Daniel found a way to come out on top. And when he didn't, he cried, not quietly, the kind of crying that fills a room and demands that everyone stop what they are doing and fix it. His parents weren't worried, they were proud. He just knows his worth. His mom told the teacher, "We've always told him he's exceptional, that he's going to do great things." And the teacher nodded. She'd heard this before. 20 years later, Daniel was 26. 3 failed jobs, 2 ended friendships, both because the other person couldn't handle Daniel's success. A girlfriend who left and told him, "You are the loneliest person I've ever met." He didn't understand what she meant. He still doesn't. So, here's the uncomfortable truth this video is built on. Most narcissists weren't created by abuse, they were created by love, or what felt like love. For decades, psychologists assumed narcissistic personality discovery came from cold, rejecting parents, parents who withheld affection, who criticized constantly, who made their children feel worthless. And that can be a path to NPD, but it's not the main one. In 2015, a team of researchers published a study in PNAS, one of the most prestigious scientific journals in the world, and what they found flipped the conventional wisdom on its head. The biggest predictor of narcissism in children wasn't neglect, it was overvaluation. The study, led by Eddie Brummelman at the University of Amsterdam, tracked 565 children between the ages of 7 and 12, along with their parents over an 18-month period. They measured 2 things: how much parents overvalued their child versus how much worms they showed. And Then they watched what happened to the child's narcissism scores over time. The result was unambiguous. So, parental warmth, actually loving your child, being affectionate, being emotionally present, did not cause narcissism. In fact, warmth was associated with the healthy self esteem, not the same thing. So, what is overvaluation exactly? Overvaluation is when a parent genuinely believes and communicates to their child that their child is more special than other children. Not just loved, but not just capable, superior. So the study found that overvaluating or overvaluing parents constantly overestimate their child's IQ, overclaim their child's knowledge, believing their kid knows things they don't, overpraise academic performance, especially math, were more likely to give their children unusual, uncommon first names, a measurable signal of a desire for the child to stand apart from others. And here's the thing that makes this genuinely disturbing. These parents weren't doing it out of cruelty, they were doing it out of love. They thought raising a child to feel exceptional was the same as raising a confident child, and it isn't. Confidence and narcissism feel identical from the inside of the parent who's creating them, but they are built from completely different materials. Confidence is built from you worked hard, you got better, you handled that difficult thing. Narcissism is built from you are special, you are smarter than the others, you don't need to try as hard because you are already exceptional. One tells the child your value comes from your effort and your character. The other tells the child your value is innate and it's higher than everyone else. Now imagine that what happens when that child grows up and hits the wall. The first child fails a test, thinks I need to study harder, adjusts, moves on. The second child fails a test and something breaks, because failing a test doesn't mean they need to study more. It means the entire story of who they are might be wrong. Their identity was built on being exceptional. The test just said they are not. That's narcissistic injury, and the psychologists have documented it for decades. The child screams, blames the teacher, says the test was unfair, says the other kids cheated. The parent wanting to protect that child agrees, and the cycle tightens. So, overvaluation doesn't announce itself. It sounds like encouragement. Here's what it actually sounds like in practice. Version 1. The comparison trap. Normal. Great job on that drawing. I love how you worked on it. Overvaluation. That's the best drawing in the whole class. No one draws like you. The first tells the child their work has value. The second tells them their worth is defined by being better than others. Version 2. The consequence shield. A child breaks something at the store. The parent says, it wasn't his fault. He's just very energetic and he's a creative child. He doesn't do well with rules. The message the child receives, rules apply to others, not to me. Version 3. The effort bypass. Child does something mediocre. Parent says, you're so gifted. You could do this in your sleep if you actually tried. The child hears, I don't need to try. I'm just naturally above this. Version 4. The rivalry framing. Parent says to the child, you're better than those other kids. Don't let them bring you down. The child learns other people are competition, not potential friends, not equals, threats to my status. Each of these moments individually is small. The parent who said any one of these ones isn't creating a narcissist, but a childhood made of these moments, a child who hears hundreds of times across their development that they are fundamentally superior, that child builds an identity that cannot survive contact with reality. And here's the part that genuinely fascinating to understand. The child who grows up feeling superior doesn't develop a strong, stable self. They develop a fragile one because their sense of worth was never connected to anything they did. So it was just declared by their parents. And deep down, below the confidence, below the entitlement, there's a question that never got answered. Am I actually good? Or am I just being told that? The grandiosity on the outside is a defense against the question. Psychologists call this the mask model of narcissism. The arrogance isn't real confidence, it's armor built to prevent the world from getting close enough to give an honest answer. This is why narcissists attack when criticized instead of listening. This is why they cannot apologize, because an apology would confirm that they've been terrified of their whole life, that they are not exceptional after all. The parent who raised them with unconditional exceptionalism accidentally gave their child a wound that looks like superiority. And the paradox of good intentions. This is the hardest part to sit with. The parents in Broom Millman's study weren't bad parents. They were parents who read somewhere that children need high self-esteem, who watched their child get teased and wanted to harm them, who genuinely believed that telling your child they are special was the same as loving them well. The researchers found that overvaluing parents themselves often had narcissistic traits, meaning that the pattern transfers not just through behavior, but through genuine belief. They weren't performing, they actually believed their child was exceptional, and that belief, communicated daily, became the child's entire operating system. The child never learned how to regulate themselves through effort, through failure, through recovery, through the normal human experience of being ordinary in some things and better in others. They were told they were a star before they'd ever done anything worth staring for. And stars, when they hit the real world, either burn out or collapse inward. What to do instead? If you are a parent watching this, or if you want to understand what healthy development actually looks like, here's what the research points to. First of all, praise the process, not the person. You worked really hard on that. It's not the same as you were so smart. The first builds resilience, the second builds fragility. Carol Dweck's decades of research on growth mindset fully aligns with Broom Millman's findings on narcissism. The language you use matters more than the frequency. That's it. Second, let them lose. Not cruelly, but really. Don't intercept every failure. Don't call the teacher. Don't tell them the game was rigged. A child who never loses never learns that they can survive losing, and that survival is the real skill. Third, distinguish love from admiration. You can love your child completely and unconditionally. That's warmth. That's what the research says builds real self-esteem. Admiration, telling them they're better than other kids, that rules don't apply to them, and they are in a different category than their peers. That's overvaluation. They are not the same thing. 4. Watch your comparisons. You are the best kid in your class sounds like a compliment, but it teaches your child that their worth is relative, that they only have value if they're above someone else. That's the foundation that requires constant maintenance, constant comparison, constant winning. Real security doesn't need a ranking. 5. Model accountability. When you're wrong in front of your child, say so. Say the words, "I was wrong, I'm sorry." A parent who models that being wrong is survival gives their child the most powerful protection against narcissism. There is the knowledge that admitting imperfection doesn't kill you. Daniel, from the beginning of this video, I made up his name, but his story is a composite of real clinical patterns documented in research or on narcissistic personality disorder. The girlfriend who left wasn't wrong. He was lonely. He had been lonely his entire life, surrounded by people who either admired him or left, with very few who stayed long enough to actually know him, because the version of himself he showed the world wasn't designed to be known. It was designed to be impressive. That was the only skill he was ever taught. His parents loved him. They wanted the best for him, and they gave him a wound that looked like a gift for 26 years. The research on narcissism doesn't end at how it's created. It continues into what it does to everyone around it: partners, co-workers, children. Next video, why the most dangerous manipulators stay perfectly calm during a fight, and what that tells you about that's actually happening. Subscribe to me, and if this hit close to home, the comment section is open. So this is my first video about psychological knowledge. So please subscribe to me, like my videos, and that's it. Goodbye.